New York Knicks legend Carmelo Anthony recently had something to say about RJ Barrett and his game, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because Melo was recently on his podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, that he does with the kid Miro, who we all know from Jesus and Miro if we're from New York. Most of Knicks Digest viewers are from New York, so you know who Miro is. But Melo threw some shade at RJ Barrett because he said that RJ Barrett's game is bland. And before I put words in Melo's mouth, I'm just going to show you what Melo did say about Barrett. He said that he's just a bland player, bro. That's not a shot. That's not disrespect. I ask a lot of Knicks fans, and it's just like he's good. He gets it done sometimes, but he's not an exciting player. You don't know if he got 4 or 26. Miro said, and the personality is just like, to which Melo cut him off and said, bland. Melo then went on to say, OG can do the same thing RJ doing. He just don't demand it the same way that RJ demanded the ball to be part of the offense. OG is cool sitting on the wing. He's gonna play defense no matter what. Whereas RJ, he gotta score 20. You know what I'm saying? So where that 20 is gonna come from, you feel like I'm putting up 24. I'm the third option. I ain't really getting, you know what I mean? Like man, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably was feeling that. I'm sure he was questioning it. The last part is about saying that RJ was probably thinking that he wanted to be traded because he was the third option on the Knicks where he is a score-first player, and I don't disagree with that. I think RJ was probably happy to be traded to some degree where he could actually get more opportunities to score the ball. He very much deserved it so, and him and Julius Randle were way too similar that could have ever really worked. But let's really get to the main event of this, which is Carmelo Anthony not only called RJ Barrett's game bland, he said that RJ Barrett's personality is bland. Whoa, Melo from the top rope. I don't know what Carmelo Anthony thought about when he woke up and shows violence towards RJ Barrett, but that is crazy. Now again, something to stress is that Melo did say it's not a shot, it's not disrespect. What Melo's doing is being brutally honest, and New Yorkers, we're pretty honest about our fan base. At this point, Carmelo Anthony is a Knicks fan because he played 7.5 years with the Knicks. It was a great 7.5 years to watch Carmelo Anthony ball out, though not all of it was very successful because Phil Jackson is a war criminal to New York Knicks fans, including myself. I don't care that he won 2 championships with us. He's a war criminal. And really, Melo now, who goes to most of the Knicks games, has seen RJ play a lot and said that RJ Barrett is bland. I mean, look, if it's not disrespect, then what it is constructive criticism. I don't think Melo is out there rooting against RJ Barrett. I don't think that at all. I think Melo is actively rooting for RJ because he's a young guy in the NBA trying to pave his way as a scorer, similar to what Carmelo Anthony was around 20 years ago. So Melo gets it. But also, he's not wrong. Look, I love RJ Barrett. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. His jersey is hung up in my bedroom at an angle that you guys cannot see because someone commented down below once to get rid of the RJ jersey hanging up, where now the Carmelo Anthony jersey is hanging, ironically enough. But I mean, it's not like RJ's game is all that exciting. Now at Duke, look, RJ was thinner, and I'm not calling RJ fat. I'm saying he built up a lot of muscle over the last 5 years, which is factually accurate. RJ was thinner. He was more of a high flyer than anything else. When he got to the Knicks, there was not a lot of court spacing. He had to spend a lot of time out in the perimeter where he was not fully comfortable. And he moved from more of a combo 1-2 guard, mainly a shooting guard with playmaking, to the Knicks small forward where he did bulk up because he was now playing small forward in the NBA. Tibbs wanted a lot out of RJ on defense. And though RJ's defense was inconsistent with the Knicks, there were a lot of times, including this season, where RJ proved to be an excellent defender. And I truly do think that if RJ can lock in, he can be a tremendous defender on any team that he's on, especially the Toronto Raptors, who already have a litany of good defense, starting with Scotty Barnes. But yeah, no, I mean, it's not like RJ goes out there and is a human highlight reel like he was at Duke, and that's fine. You don't have to be. I mean, there's a lot of times where Anthony Davis will score 38 points in a game and it'll feel like he had 14. Does that mean Anthony Davis is any worse than a highlight reel type player? No, it does not mean that at all. It just means that you're a quieter player, and I think that's sort of where Melo was going with that. And then he kind of mentioned that RJ's a scorer and that RJ should have wanted to leave, and RJ got his wish. The problem is now that he's on the Toronto Raptors, Pascal Siakam is a very similar player to Julius Randle. A lot of Raptors fans seem to think that Pascal Siakam is better than Julius Randle this season, which is just, incorrect factually. But you guys are probably going to start commenting on this video too, and go for it. I love the comments. They're fun. But look, RJ is not the most exciting player in the world. Does it mean he's any worse than anyone who is exciting? No, that's not at all what it means. Melo's given criticism that he's allowed to give. Melo was one of the most exciting players in the NBA for 18 seasons. He went out there. He was just a highlight reel. He was putting up numbers throughout his entire career. And I mean, if you look at RJ's career with the Knicks, it was sort of, dare I say it, it was kind of bland. Now, look. Again, I love RJ. I really do. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA to this day. I always root for him. I was so excited when he scored 37 points with the Raptors. How many of those were highlight baskets? Again, it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying that Melo's not fully incorrect here. Does that mean he was fully correct? No. RJ also had a bunch of highlights with the New York Knicks, especially in the earlier parts, but as he started to put on the muscle weight, his game got a little quieter, as players who are strength-based usually do, and that's fine. But also, I think we all kind of expected a little more out of RJ's career with the Knicks than what we got. If you take a look here, RJ Barrett's stats for his career, and as you can see, he did play shooting guard the first 2 years, and the rest of those years saying shooting guard are just factually incorrect by Basketball Reference. But RJ averaged 14.3 points in his rookie year that obviously got cut short by COVID, and then the next year averaged 17 points and shot really well, became a 3-and-D player sort of out of nowhere when he came in as an athletic rim runner, so I don't really know where that came from, but we were all okay with it because the Knicks were in the playoffs. Next year, he had the best season of his career, averaged 20 points per game. Shot not great, but it didn't really matter. A lot of that was just an early in the year struggle, where after February 1st of 2022, through the rest of the season, RJ averaged 25, 5, and 5. So that was probably his best New York Knicks season. The following year, again, he played well for the Knicks, and on top of that, he was tremendous in the playoffs for the Knicks. And now we're looking at Melo. Again, I keep calling him Melo. RJ's season with the Knicks that then turned into his season with the Raptors, and his numbers are clearly much better with the Toronto Raptors because it is a much better fit. But RJ we kind of expected a little bit more when he was with the Knicks. I think we all kind of saw him come in and thought by year 2 or 3 he'd be above 20 points per game. By year 4, he'd probably be nearing an all-star appearance. And that never came. And that sucked because, like most Knicks fans, I'm very pro RJ Barrett. I still am. But it wasn't it didn't feel like it lived up to the incredible amount of hype that it had. And he was probably the most hyped up draft pick the Knicks had since Patrick Ewing, who lived up to the hype in every single way except for winning a championship. But that is what happens when your career directly intertwines with Michael Jordan's. When Jordan not only was by far the best player in the NBA and up to that point, without a doubt, the greatest basketball player of all time, but he also was constantly playing on the best teams in the NBA. Again, there's a reason why that Scottie Pippen team that played the Knicks went to 7 games, and they probably would have won had Pippen not had a fit on the sidelines. But again, you can only blame so much on Ewing. Also, Ewing did make the finals that one time. I know they made it twice under him, but he tore his Achilles the second time. It was different. The first time, he just got outplayed by Olajuwon. That's fine. Olajuwon's better than him. No one's really arguing that. But look, it wasn't the greatest run for RJ Barrett with the Knicks. It wasn't a Carmelo Anthony run. If you look at Melo stats just all time, I mean, first of all, yeah, whole long NBA career, so we're only going to stick to the Knicks for now. But if you're talking Knicks, I mean, 24.7 points per game, including the 28.7 point per game season when he won the scoring title. Mind you, there are a lot less possessions in 2013 than there are in 2024. And he also was pulling down rebounds, doing his thing. Got 3 assists, too. I mean, look, Melo was great with the Knicks. I think a lot of Knicks fans are very pro-Melo and love him and love that he came to New York and was not afraid of any of the pressure and came here and wanted to win. And did he win? Not very often, but we know that really was not a lot of his fault. What are you really going to do when you're running out with lineups of Langston Galloway, Lance Thomas, Lou Odmanson, Jason Smith, and Carmelo Anthony? Like, what are you really supposed to do there? They never really put a successful team around Carmelo outside of the 2013 year, and that team was not even that good. Melo was really carrying the load there. I understand Amari Stoudemire was great for that one singular year when Melo got there, but the injuries caught up to him, and all that mileage from the Mike D'Antoni years did get to Amari, and he slowed down. And Melo was really the lone star with the Knicks his entire 7 years there after the trade. And then he got moved. And up until the point where he played for the Thunder, Melo averaged 20 points per game constantly. The first 15 seasons of Carmelo Anthony, he averaged 20-plus points per game. Only a few other players in NBA history did that. A few other names that are in that list are Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So Melo obviously was in elite company. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. There's no doubt there. And when you're that good, and especially when you're that good on the New York Knicks, you are allowed to give your criticism of other former or current New York Knicks. Now, if you asked Melo, hey, what do you think about Julius Randle's career with the Knicks? Melo's not going to give 100% positivity. And he didn't do that with RJ, but he also wasn't 100% negative towards RJ. He wasn't saying, oh, RJ sucks. His game's bland. The man can't play basketball whatsoever. He's a bona fide scrub. Shout out Stephen A. But yeah, no, he didn't say that, because none of those things are true about RJ, that he's a bad player. He's a great player. RJ's tremendous, and he's only going to get better with the Raptors, especially if they move Siakam, so it creates more court spacing for RJ and Pascal. And Scotty Barnes can finally play power forward where he rightfully belongs. And, see, the sirens are coming for me because I said that RJ's bad. And New York does not love that still, even though RJ's gone. And I love RJ Barrett. I'm really rooting for him. He's averaged 21 points with the Raptors in this short span already. I can't wait to see what he does next. I'm looking forward to January 20th when the Raptors come visit the Knicks in MSG. I wonder if Melo will be at that game, because if he is and RJ notices him, RJ's going to try and go for 30 against the Knicks. OG, I don't know who he's going to guard. It's probably Scotty, but who knows? We'll see. I'll also be at that game with Ben from Raptors Digest, and I'm going to talk trash to him the entire time, because we know the Knicks are obviously going to win that game. It's no question. The Knicks just beat the Raptors. It's what we do. But yeah, so basically, I don't think that people should take this too seriously with the whole RJ Melo debacle. I don't think Melo is calling RJ Barrett bad at basketball, but he's also not fully wrong. RJ's not the most exciting player in the world, and that does not mean anything about his talent. It doesn't. You cannot say it does. Again, Anthony Davis, not the most flashy player in the world. Guess what? Anthony Davis is one of the greatest players on the planet. So, it's no concern there. I'm rooting for RJ Barrett. I think Melo was in the right to say this, because not only is it sort of accurate, it's also, when you're that good and 9th all time in NBA scoring, then you're allowed to be critical of other players that come after you, especially when you're making it very clear that you are rooting for them. It's not like you're not. And also, Melo had this to say on the Knicks. He basically just said, can the Knicks make the Eastern Conference Finals? I think they can. They created and built to stop the other team, defense first. The only thing it comes down to is no matter how great your defense is, offense always outweighs. The game is about a bucket, so you can play all the defense you want in the world. If this guy's about a bucket, he's going to get a bucket. You ain't getting a bucket. I don't give a fuck how much defense you play. There's guys out there, we bigged them up all year, long best defensive player. Then they get to the playoffs, and they just give you that, the defense. They ain't getting a bucket. Then you're like, fuck this, man. Why are you playing? It's like, this is what he do. I thought y'all liked that. This is the game. The game is about getting a bucket. Yeah, if you ask Carmelo Anthony what the game's about, he's going to say it's about getting a bucket, because what did Carmelo Anthony do better than anyone else, basically? Basically anyone else. Not everyone. Melo got a bucket. Comment below if you think Melo was correct to say this about RJ Barrett. Is he correct? Is RJ's game bland? Are you still rooting for RJ Barrett? What are your thoughts on Carmelo Anthony? Who will go down all time as the better player, Melo or RJ? I know my vote, and here's a hint. No hate to RJ, though. Melo's just that good. Have a great day, guys. Like and subscribe. Do all that stuff. Turn on the post notifications. And hey, if you subscribe, you'll see all our videos, unlike that 86% of people who are missing some of them. So you don't want to do that. And plus, subscribing doesn't mean anything to you. You're just going to subscribe to the channel, not think about it again, and I'm going to think about it for the rest of the day and be very happy. Do me a favor, guys. Just subscribe to the channel. Have a great day. Go Knicks.